Hello everybody, my name is Lindsey Oakley. I'm a second year student majoring in agricultural communications, and I'm an academic coach for the Dentist Learning Center here at Ohio State. So I assume you're tuning into this video if you've already watched the first two episodes into our note-taking strategies video series. Today I'm going to walk you through the third installment, which is going to discuss behind the outline. So today I'm going to be talking about how to take effective notes and how to organize that text information visually so that way it's easy to take the notes during class and it's easy to review them after class. So please join me to learn about the nitty-gritty details behind taking effective notes. So of course, the first thing we're going to talk about is how to take notes during class. So it may seem silly, but the first step to taking notes during class is to prepare yourself before class begins. So looking over the PowerPoint slides or the information that's going to be covered in lecture that day will help you build a background knowledge and activate your schema before class begins. So your schema is the organizational structure in your mind that helps you organize and make relationships between this new knowledge. So activating your schema essentially means looking over the information you're going to be covering in lecture that day so that way you can take better notes during class. So preparing yourself before class makes it easier to identify important points in lecture, helps you organize your notes more effectively, and actually reduces the likelihood you'll make factual errors in your notes. So the second step to preparing yourself before class begins is choosing a location in the classroom that's conducive to learning. So this means you should probably sit at the front of the classroom and away from all distractions, whether that be your friends or a noisy group of kids in the back. And the third step to preparing yourself before class begins is preparing your note-taking materials. So whether you're using your computer or an iPad, put it on Do Not Disturb or even turn off the Wi-Fi for note-taking. And if you choose to use good old pen and paper, make sure you have those out and ready to take notes. So the second step to taking notes in class is labeling, dating, and numbering your papers. So you probably want to do this before class begins. So this means writing down the topics and subtopics, and dating and numbering all of your pages so that way you can access them easier after class. The third step to taking notes in class is using only one side of the paper if you are using pen and paper. So this helps you review and organize your information side by side when you are studying after class. It also helps you highlight on one side of the paper without fear of it bleeding through to the other side. You can also use the other side of the paper to add review material. You can use this to quiz yourself so you can create charts, mind maps, and drawings on the other side so that way you're not wasting that side. And if you are environmentally conscious and you still don't like this idea, you can opt to use a non-paper method like your computer or your iPad. It's totally up to you. The fourth step to taking notes in class is leaving blank space in your notes. So leaving room in the margins for notes later makes it easier to read and allows you to take further notes and clarify after class. So now that we've talked about how to take notes during class, we're going to talk about how to organize those notes visually so that way they're easy to take during class and easy to review after class. So the first method would be the line/wheel technique. So in this method you want to write your topic in the center and write subtopics branching from the center with lines. So you can use further branching lines for supporting points. It should look like a web in the end. You can also add an intro at the top of the paper if you desire, but whatever you do, just make sure you don't turn your paper as this makes it a mess for reading later and organizing. The second method would be the hierarchy method. So in this method, you want to place the topics at the top of the paper and write your subtopics below. You want to add supporting details even further below the subtopics, and you want to make sure you use lines, boxes, arrows, whatever you need to show relationships between all this information. That's really key when you want to relate all your information together. The third method is semantic. So in this one, instead of using the topic in the center, you want to use a word, phrase, or question in the center of your paper. You can use subcategory strands around it, just like the first method, and you want to write supporting details around each strand. It's really helpful for this method especially to add color coding to make it more readable and to make it more fun to look at. The fourth method would be charts. So for charts, you want to make sure you choose an overarching topic. From that, you want to pick subtopics to compare and contrast. You want to identify the attributes you want to compare or contrast, and then you want to slowly fill in those cells with all of your details. This can be really great when you have a topic that's really hard to comprehend and there's just many overlapping things, so it's really great to compare and contrast. Some other tips we have for effectively note-taking and organizing these notes would be to create word cards for essential vocab. You can create note cards for literature coursework. So on these note cards, you can write the title, author, the setting, the theme, characters, if there's symbolism, diagram of the plot, anything like that. You can also create note cards for articles or outside readings. to organize them differently from your notes in lecture. So you can use this for the title, the author, and the main points of those outside readings or articles. And finally, you can use concept maps and charts given to you by your professor. I always say, if you're allowed to, take pictures of those, but whatever you do, please write your notes out. The more you are hands-on with your notes, the more likely you are to remember those notes after class. So thank you for tuning in to this third installment of the Note-Taking Strategies video series. In this video, we learned how to take notes behind the outline. So we learned how to take effective notes during class and how to organize these notes visually so they're easy to take during class and easy to read after class. So stay tuned next week for the fourth and final video in this series on note-taking. If you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe to our channel and check out all of our other DLC videos. And make sure you check out our website to see all the other services the DLC offers to help you become your best self-regulated learner.